talking about people.
Welcome into Las Vegas for the final week of the VPL Preseason Invitational. We have 2 games scheduled here for North America, and it is going to be intense. We do not want to miss it as it kicks off right now.
What does it take to mold a champion? Shape your destiny. Hone your craft. In mobile esports, it doesn't get any bigger than this. Today is where the molding begins, the preseason, where teams have the chance to establish their rhythm as a new 5-player team, try out strategies, and gel as a group in preparation for a historic run for the championship. The VPL Preseason Invitational begins now.
Earlier today, we saw 3 great matches in Europe with Queso, Rising Lotus, and Clash, each picking up victories. But today we have 2 fantastic North American matchups, Rogue versus Tribe, and then our hype game of the day, of the week, of the preseason, TSM versus Tribe Gaming.
Boom! How's it going, everybody? My name is Flash X. We have some super exciting North American matches getting ready to kick off. TSM versus Tribe, going to be absolutely insane. Joined by my good friend Tasty Bacon. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I cannot wait to get these games underway. But first, we have to talk about the big news in VPL, and that is that the regular season will be kicking off in early June. There's going to be 2 tournaments per region over the summer season, 24 teams selected in each region. Top 8 will be invited, but the rest of the field will be an open sign-up. That's right, the open tournaments are back, and it is time to find out which teams will be able to step up, who's going to be the next big name in Vainglory Esports.
And you can't have a new format without a new logo. Taking a look at it here, ESP Gaming putting it together. It looks so good. Now that we're on the Sovereign's Rise, it's only fitting that we have a new logo to go alongside it.
Yeah, absolutely spectacular looking logo. Cannot wait until we get into the regular season. But that's then. This is now. We're going to be focusing a little bit more on the rest of our games for the preseason here coming up. And, I mean, what a preseason we have had thus far. Some incredible games, incredible matchups that we have seen. And this is where it has led us today. TSM and Tribe Gaming both tied at 5-1. Nova Esports right behind them, right on their heels at 4-2. And you have Slimy Salamanders and Rogue and Vision Gaming all 3-3. And finally, Tilt Rehab and Hammers Esports rounding out the North American standings.
With both of them faltering just a little bit last week, we had our good friend Munchables, who will be here once we get into the regular season. His visa has been approved. That is a huge shakeup in power rankings, putting Nova on top. And to give them credit, they did look very good last week.
They looked very good, but I'm still wondering if Munchables maybe spent a little bit too much time celebrating getting his visa approved to put Nova as #1. That is a bold, bold pick, but you know, he was impressed by what he saw from them. Tribe and TSM struggled a little bit, but they're going to be looking to get back on the wagon here today. And Dienzio had some words about this matchup.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Dienzio here, and the game plan going up against TSM, you know, we're not gonna be messing around. We've improvised. We've worked on our strategies, and we're coming in really confident. We're going to make it a quick 1-0. We're not going to hold up the tournament. We're going to destroy them. It's going to be an insane match. It's going to be a 10-0. I'm saying, like, TSM has nothing on us this week. And that's all I got to say. We'll catch them in the tournament.
D'Angelo with some very bold words of confidence, but if my boys TSM have anything to say about it, they are not going to let it be a quick one. They are going to be bringing their best, but I also think they're going to be having a little bit of fun with it as well.
Yeah, and we got to hear from them.
What's up, guys? I'm Hammy.
I'm Daniel.
And we're hanging out here in Vegas, preparing for our big match. We play Tribe this weekend. We're going to beat them again. We have something special planned this weekend, so make sure to tune in.
Make sure to tune in. Truer words have never been spoken. This is going to be a fantastic matchup. You see some of the stats there for Hammy, especially after, again, hearing from D'Angelo, hearing from Hammy and Daniel getting into this matchup. You see both teams are ready, but before we get into that game, we do have another North American matchup to get to, and this one's going to be a fun one as well. Rogue and Tilt Rehab. You see, obviously, the draft already completed. Rogue on the top side of your screen, Tilt Rehab there on the bottom. What sticks out to you?
We have a Baron coming through. Definitely not a pick that we've seen too much of, if at all. That, however, is a specialty pick for Tilt Rehab. If Jazzville is in this game and in this lineup, he loves Crystal Powered Baron. Yeah, and the Crystal Powered Baron, I think, has really seen a little bit of a rise in popularity over the past couple of weeks with Update 3.2, and we still haven't seen it much on the VPL broadcasts, but I've seen it in some of the games that, I've been playing at home. I've seen some of the pros talking about it. It's definitely a pick that can do a lot of damage. We take a look at the stat comparison between Rogue and Tilt Rehab. You see, it's actually pretty close across the board for a lot of these stats. Tilt Rehab, obviously, with those very long average game times, they've had a couple really heartbreaking losses. Even though they're 1-5, they were very, very close to having a significantly better record. And coming into this one, Sino especially looking confident.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Sino, and I'm the mid laner for Tilt Rehab. And as you guys may already know, we're going to be going up against Rogue for this series. I do feel like it'll be an interesting and entertaining series to watch, and I do feel like my team will come out with the win over Rogue. I feel like Rogue is an overhyped team, and Louis Vuitton Don really is not a good player. I just feel like he's a one-trick saw. Evol, he should just stick to the support position and get out of the mid lane because he clearly does not know what he's doing. And I just feel like my team is overall better than Rogue. Good luck, Rogue. You guys will need it. Sibs, you smell like Swiss cheese.
Sino with some harsh words there. He called out Louis Vuitton Don. You can see he's actually been backing it up for the most part. Aside from those deaths, got to work on that one. But Sino does have the stat advantage over Louis.
Absolutely. He has looked very good. We have to see how he looks on the Sovereign's Rise. Joining us for the first time, Scoundrel and Humanist.
Wow! For the first time, blessed by the presence of the Scoundrel. We've got Rogue versus Tilt Rehab, a fine little matchup. Scoundrel, how you feeling?
I'm feeling really good, mate. It feels good to be back to Vainglory. I've been away for the last month and a bit. Haven't had much chance to participate in the Preseason Invitational, but what a match to get started, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Rogue play because I've seen some great things from them from watching back over the VODs, and honestly, it's a really exciting team. One of the ones that will be challenging, I think, over the course of this year for one of those top 2 spots that Tribe and TSM have been working with.
Definitely could be. Rogue moving over, taking their Crystal Trance as a bit of a invade comes out of Tilt Rehab. 4-man rotate, not going to find anything there. But as the desk was talking about, Sino kind of calling out Louis Vuitton Don just a little bit, huh?
Well, I think Louis is one of those players that when I first encountered him, I encountered him through YouTube. He was making a lot of saw-based guides. He was pretty much a saw. We got a bit of action, though.
Did you saw that one?
Yay, nice meme. But I encountered him through YouTube. He used to comment on my videos, and he used to just do like saw.
Oh, he's a YouTube commenter.
Yeah. He used to do like check out my Vainglorious Gold saw guide and stuff like that. And he eventually messaged me and said, "Oh, can I do this?" And I said, "Yeah." And I started watching his videos. I started watching his videos, and I was like, oh, actually, this guy's pretty darn good at Saw. But he was kind of considered a bit of a Saw 1 trick, and he's really stepped up and expanded that hero pool, and I think that's something that's really important, especially when it comes to 5v5. You can't just spam Saw all the time, so that's what I've been impressed with seeing Louis play. But yeah, definitely maybe some deaths that he has to correct, maybe a bit more consistent in that regard, Humanist.
Well, we'll see if he can do so, but now I know how to get you to watch my video. I'll just comment right there.
No, I usually delete them, mate. I usually delete them, but it was just because he was like, Vainglorious Gold Saw gameplay. I was like, I might as well check this out.
Gotta check it out. I mean, if someone's a pro Saw. But right now, guys,
I'll let you comment, though. I'll let you comment.
The early laning phase, dude, I'm the pro commenter. You don't even know about that. I probably did 90% of your comments. I'm just the comment bot. Okay, so we got Baron in the game. Is Baron back?
No, but I think if you are a particularly good CP Baron player, he can be quite oppressive if you get him to the late game. He's got great teamfight zone control. He's got great siege. Obviously got great poke associated with that as well. I have seen CP Barons in solo queue or like VG Bronze, VG Silver level. Yeah. Play CP Baron, build an Echo, and just start spamming your turrets with echoed Baron ultimates, which kind of gets a bit of sort of map control. And also you can Baron ultimate waves across the map. Say that you've got a massive wave pushing into your base and you don't want to commit a member over the other side of the map for fear of losing an objective. A CP Baron can clear that wave for free with his ultimate.
It's kind of like a base-setting objective kind of character.
Yeah, kind of. But he takes a long time to be extremely useful in a teamfight situation, but he actually provides a lot of things aside from being a team fighter. In terms of, like I said, that map control that his ultimate can provide once you get towards the later stages of the game.
Were there any changes that brought the CP Baron back? I thought it was the weapon Baron that got the slight buff.
Yeah, I don't think CP Baron had many changes.
Knockback. Maokai's in trouble. Maokai's dead.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with Kestrel in general, especially into a glaive. If you can get that after burn off super early, make it difficult for her to slip into active camo in the early game, you can really snowball sort of against that Kestrel. So it's kind of what I want to see. Sibs being super aggressive. This is what glaive is used for, just to be super aggressive against those squishy picks in lane and from the jungle. And yeah, I've been impressed with Sibs from every time that I've seen him play on this rogue lineup.
Oh, definitely. You know, for me though, when I watch Sibs, I feel like when he's the aggressor, his overall play just seems to be a lot more effective. Like if he starts to play defensively, I don't know, it doesn't really work for me. Right now, contest over the weapon Treant is going to go and secure that. That's going to go over to Rogue. Pretty sure Sino taking some damage, jump jet back, little splash damage in the choke point, but they move forward, not too threatened here. Kind of choked in from the backside. Solar Storm will tear on through. Nice kill there. Evil are going to be happy about that one.
Oh, we're not even into late game Celeste yet. Celeste, in my opinion, is one of the most ridiculous carries in the game right now. If she doesn't get nerfed next update, then I don't know what's going on. But she's in a very strong spot. She's got great range. She actually, with a heavy prism and an eclipse prism, spikes really hard in lane pre-level 8. Once you get post-level 8, which is very easy to achieve on Sovereign's Rise, especially because you've got so much protection with a constant captain sit in the mid lane. For most people anyway, it's very easy to get to Celeste's power spikes, and she's very hard to play against because you get a 1-second heliogenesis with the clockwork. She completely dominates team fights and pre-team fight areas where you're just poking out. Maybe this is where Baron comes into play, Humanist, because you can maybe answer some of those heliogenesis with the Porcupine Mortars, but they are a lot slower and don't have the same kind of impact that the heliogenesis does.
Yeah, they move at about the speed of a porcupine. I'd much rather have the Celeste on my side. I do like the Celeste with the Samuel, incredibly powerful. I mean, they're both powerful in their own right. You put them together and you have so much damage and control. Now, right now, Tilt Rehab, they're going to be taking down the turret, but a rotation comes over from Rogue. They see what's happening here. Oh, they get onto Maokai. He's dead. They're looking for 2. Blanks, healing flask. He's down. Whoa, where'd the other kill? Celeste just picked up another one. This is going to be 6-0 in favor of Rogue. 6 minutes in. Kill a minute.
Yeah, that was a massive commit to take that top lane tier 1 turret, but they're going to lose likely that mid lane for it. And if you see the commit that I'm expecting to see from the top side of the map here for Rogue, they might get enough damage onto that top lane tier 1. They look like they don't want to take their chances. They're happy to trade that mid lane tier 1 over for that top side of the map, but they'll be setting up for either a top lane dive or a bot lane dive over the next few minutes, you would assume. The difference between a top lane tier 1 and a mid lane tier 1 is now Rogue have access to both sides of the jungle. coming from Tilt Rehab. They're allowed to move in there. They can get some deep vision down. As you can see, they've got great deep vision on the top side of the map here from Rogue. This is going to allow them to be a bit more free in their invades, especially onto that weapon power buff, Humanist, because they've got several avenues to get into that jungle now that that mid lane tier 1 is down. This is better for overall map control for Rogue compared to that tier 1 going down on the top side.
I like the way you describe that. Like, every objective that gets taken on the map, you can kind of think of as like a key that unlocks something else for you to do. And taking down that mid turret, very important. And now Rogue, they'll go right into Ghost Wing, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. Would we expect to just push down mid, or I mean bottom? Do they take 1? Do they go for 2?
Yeah, I think they've realized with the heavy commit to the top side of the map that seems to be going out from Tilt Rehab here, they were pretty much free to get Ghost Wing. They knew that they would either be forcing a 5 versus 3, or there would just be no commit, I think, from Tilt Rehab to try and contest that. And with Louis Vuitton pushing in this bot side of the map against Fez so heavily, they were very easily able to rotate down, because Fez has to be worried about a potential dive. He doesn't have any scout traps in that, scout cams in that area, so he had to back off. He didn't have the presence to be able to stand up, and they've got another dive going on. Sibs does have to be careful, though.
Yeah, Sibs in a bad place. Sibs is down! He played himself, like scoundrel. I mean, I was literally about to say there's nothing Fez can do with a poison shiv. Like, he has no kill potential unless they do something like that.
Yeah, that was a little bit aggressive from Sibs. I think they were trying to run off that potential where they had a huge push onto the... Yeah, he's dead.
Continue
down. Just down, yeah, there's nothing much to say here. I think they were just trying to snowball that bot side of the map because it didn't look like there was much response coming out from Tilt Rehab. And honestly, Tilt Rehab feel like they're playing one step behind. Everything that Rogue is doing, Tilt Rehab are trying to respond, but they're not going to be able to respond quickly enough. Ooh. And with the pressure that just a couple of members from Rogue can generate, they're having to commit almost half of their entire team or more to get the same kind of objective take. So whilst it looks like even objective trades across the map, it's really not.
Uh-oh, jump forward here. It's going to be the Fountain coming out. Rogue stand their ground. They look to trade, but Maokai starting to pump out some damage. One shot. Not going to land onto Rogue. That would have been a kill onto LeVar if it would have connected there. Not really a problem because they don't want to stay in that fight. They want to move towards mid where the rest of their team is having a bit of a skirmish here. Evil and Sibs, that's a nice little combo to move around the map with. Gauntlet comes on down. Ali Peterson on the front side for his team. Shimmer strike forward over to the backside of the fight. This could be it for Tilt Rehab. A double kill coming through for the Idris. He's dropped down low. They chase forward onto Adagio, taking down that Spellfire. Louis Vuitton. Don, can he heal up through it? No, he can't. Tilt Rehab doesn't lose anybody. Rogue, click, getting dropped right here. Fez misses on the Holy Nova. Not gonna matter. Sibs goes... No, I thought Sibs was gonna go down there. Sibs able to stay alive. They're turning it around. Look at this. Jesus making the play. Sibs kiting back. He'll take one down. Crits him on down. Solarstern flies on through. That would have been nice if it connected. Maybe some, spelling an opportunity for Rogue to even go for more. But aggressive plays from Tilt Rehab. A little bit of a turnaround from Rogue.
Not even just a little bit of a turnaround. That should have been Tilt Rehab's fight in the bag. But they, I think, just disrespected that Samuel Drifting Dark. I was waiting for that Drifting Dark to come off cooldown because they were so grouped up, they were so low HP, they didn't have the Fountain. They just needed to play into that Drifting Dark for Rogue to find a way to get back into that team fight. I think the reason they forced that team fight is because they saw the Fountain go down in that top side push where Samuel went very low on that turret, the tier 3 turret on the bottom side of the map there, Humanist. They felt that they could force the fight because they had the item advantage in that respect. So they did have the item advantage. It did play into the fact that they got a great Gordon off. They separated out the team. They made it difficult for that team fight to actually be responded to by Rogue.
That's the Fountain out. Evil dropped low. This is the key target you want to keep on the backside of the fight now. Ghost Wing low. This is a huge opportunity for Tilt Rehab. Who's going to claim this? Evol's going to look to grab it over the back. He's able to do it. That's exactly the Celeste play that you're looking for. And that'll be a dead Tony. LeVar gets dropped down. One shot connects onto Jesus. He'll stay alive through this as Tilt Rehab needed to kind of regroup. I mean, across the map, though, they do have their Idris Blanks shoving that top lane forward, so it will force a couple recalls back.
Yeah, and that's going to have to be a response. And actually, despite Ghost Wing going down, Tilt Rehab are doing little bits here and there to try and keep themselves in this game. If you look at the overall gold difference, it's quite a decent amount at this point. 6,000 gold in the lead. That's at least 2 tier 3 items in favor of Rogue. You can see right now Samuel sitting on his Spellfire, almost got up towards the Harvest. Has so much damage coming out from the Celeste right now as well. And he is almost finishing his Clockwork. Once the Clockwork comes online, you can say goodbye to most of your pre-team fight situations. Although Sino almost there on his Baron. He's looking to go for the Clockwork himself to make this Porcupine Mortars more frequent too. But Celeste is ramping up so hard right now, Humanist. 3 items at 11 minutes. That's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, that's where you want to be. I wouldn't expect Evil to be anywhere else. He's having a good game. He's capitalized on it. Although I do feel like this has been a problem with Rogue. You saw how dominant the early game was. They made a couple mistakes that they really didn't need to make. And suddenly Tilt Rehab find a way back into the game. These guys, maybe they're not at the top of the charts for VPL preseason, but very capable. Louis Vuitton Don winds up for the verse, going to come on through. Solar Storm to follow. Louis Vuitton Don is down. Ali Peterson's going to drop that gauntlet, drop the elbow. They're looking for more. Baron finds that kill. Now Sibs is here to the party. Jesus into the Drifting Dark. That's it. Drifting Dark with that Malice and Verdict coming on out. They have to respect it. It's timed out, though, as Rogue lose 2. Let's see if Tilt Rehab can re-engage. They don't have the vision down. Nice attempted taunt. Little trash talk from LeVar. Now it's going to go into the Black Claw take here. Do they contest this? This feels dangerous.
It needs to be. They need to be careful taking Blacklaw versus a Celeste and a Samuel. Right? Down. So Samuel still can get a lot of work done with this Drifting Dark.
Oh, Gray's still able to secure it. Solar Storm comes on through, dropping them down low. Divine Intervention will keep the Idris alive. And Rogue, it feels like now's the time to pull the trigger and go, but they just don't go aggressively. They're going to go ahead and drop back into mid. Go ahead and take down this dragon. And maybe that's the smart call.
They're going to try and race this. So what they're trying to do right now is use the Blacklaw as a kind of a distraction to allow them to try and push down and get that turret on the top side of the map here. But I think that it's just going to get taken down too quickly. I don't think they're going to be able to get much from this Blacklaw push at all. But one thing it has done, Humanist, as it has denied an easy way to close the game out for Rogue. If Rogue had taken that Blacklaw, grouped around it, that might have been a push that could have taken down at least one of those armories. But they've managed to delay it, and do you know what delaying has allowed them to achieve? More time to stack up your Kestrel, more time to stack up items on your Baron, and also work your Idris into a viable split push threat. Time is kind of what Tilt Rehab are after right now. You know, you do have a Celeste. Celeste really is the only one that scales up super hard, though. Samuel scales well, but not as hard as the likes of a CP Baron, maybe a CP Kestrel, and even an Idris in the late game as well. So if you give Tilt Rehab this time and Rogue keep making these silly mistakes, you know, Rehab are looking to punish those out-of-position moves, especially from Louis, who has been caught out a couple of times before these team fights and led his team into a death situation. So this is good stuff from Tilt. I think they're doing what they need to do to play towards their win conditions, which is just getting that time, especially for Sino.
Based off of odds of probability, I think Tilt Rehab are bound to make the next mistake unless Rogue are just going to have an amazing throw here. Gauntlet comes down, Ali drops low, Fountain comes out a little bit defensively. LeVar being taken down, can he stay alive? He jumps back with the bada boom, uses the Fountain, he stays alive. What a play, Scoundrel. Jesus almost goes down to the Idris. Tilt Rehab are going to go ahead and funnel down the river back towards that healing camp. One shot, gonna get him! Nice play. Jesus gets dropped down. Maokai will have that up in 25 seconds and potentially an opportunity for Tilt Rehab to move forward. I really want to point out the scout cams here. I love the vision out of Rogue. It doesn't actually allow Tilt Rehab an opportunity to move back in, even when they had the advantage there. Now, Rogue moved down the river. They're looking for an opportunity. Stun goes out onto the Arden. Who's going to be the target? The jump jet's on forward. Very aggressive play, and that's just not what you're looking for. Is Rogue take them all in the ace? Oh, no.
Oh, man, that was so good from Sibs, and I think Rogue realized that they had the resources to win that fight because they still had Celeste. Celeste was still full HP. They had used a lot of their core abilities to try and lock Celeste down, including that gauntlet, including a lot of the ways for them to jump to the backline as well. Baron had used his ultimate, which is a great burst tool too. All of those big hard-hitting abilities had been used, and Celeste was pretty much untouched. All Sibs needed to do was run at Baron, make sure that he didn't expend his afterburn until at least Baron had tried to reposition with his jump, and he did it perfectly. That is classic 101 dealing with a Baron, and Sibs takes him out. Celeste gets them grouped up into an ultimate. Heliogenesis start to hit, and now they are shoving down this mid lane, and now going to rotate towards the top.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Evo on the Celeste, that felt like a boxer just throwing combos. It was just like boom, boom, wham. The 1, 2, 3 Solar Storm's going to go ahead and knock Ali Peterson out there. Tilt Rehab absolutely on the back foot. Felt like they were starting to find a way back into this game, but suddenly Rogue put it together. And you see the power of their lineup and the power of these players really starting to come together.
Yeah, the reason that Tilt Rehab have generally come away victorious in some teamfight situations has been primarily due to exploiting poor positional errors from individual members from Rogue. Louis has been caught out, even Evil got caught out once or twice in the preceding teamfights. We'll have to wait for this Black Claw though, Humanist. Oh, he steals it! He bloody steals it with a porcupine mortar! Straight off the back!
Oblivion even put one to sleep on the backside there, so that's an amazing fight. Ali Peterson, he'll drop the gauntlet onto Evil, so the fight they're looking for. Little taunt back, Pill Sibs off the back line as Idris tries to reposition back here. Grace trying to buy some space. Can we see a Holy Nova? He catches two with the Holy Nova. Now they've turned it around. Maokai finds one, but Solar Storm tears on through, takes the Baron and the Kestrel down. Fez playing a little bit of a distraction as Jesus and Louis Vuitton chasing down towards the top. Sibs is low, but he's in. Triple kill for Evil. What a play here. Sibs will finish it off. That's the ace for Rogue. And I'm pretty sure they just walk in and end this game right here, right now.
Absolutely. They're going to straight down the middle, take the Armory, and they are going to take the Vein Crystal as well. I don't think Tilt Rehab needed that fight. That is not the fight you were looking for, Mr. Tilt Rehab. You could have very easily just said, hey, we got Black Hole, that's more time, Humanist. And wow.
Wow, indeed. I mean, the thing is, they had the Black Claw, right? So at some point, if you don't force the fight, Rogue are going to back. They just threw the fight, they threw the gauntlet. Yeah, so maybe a bit of a miscommunication.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at the items. I mean, if we just look at the items right now, it's 2.5 items on Sinu versus 4 on Celeste. I mean, you are massively far behind in terms of your primary CP carry in the mid lane, and no one else is hitting major damage item spikes either. What Tilt Rehab needed to do was just buy time, and unfortunately, they just threw that away with that last fight.
Absolutely. Well, that was a great little matchup right there. A little bit of back and forth, but let's see what the desk has to say about that one.
Well, I gotta say, with the most kills, most CS, and most gold by a fairly large margin, I'd say it looks like Evil does know what he's doing, unfortunately for Sino there, but what a game from Rogue. And I mean, Tilt Rehab, they put up a hell of a fight here. They really made the Rogue work for that victory.
Absolutely. The Crystal Power Baron, not something we had seen too much. Getting a look at one of these highlights, this is where Rogue really took it. Tilt, again, making them play to their absolute limits. Tilt actually had a great snipe on Samuel at the beginning of this team fight, but it just splits away from the rest of the team, and that just can't happen. Rogue very quickly recognizes that, very intelligently engages straight onto Tilt Rehab, grabs those kills, and that set up a huge turning point for them to go ahead and close out the rest of this game.
Yeah, phenomenal work there, but we are going to be looking to get you involved in our social media. If you want to win a Vainglory Battle Pass, you've seen it in-game, you've seen people talking about them, lots of exclusive premium rewards that you can get from the Battle Pass. Retweet the giveaway tweet using hashtag VPL and hashtag Battle Pass to enter for your chance to win. We've already given away one. We've got 3 more to give away this weekend. Get involved, get yourself that Battle Pass, and use some of those rewards as we go into Update 3.3, a sneak peek at what's to come. Some of the most requested features of all time in Vainglory: ranked leaderboards, the joystick controls, voice chat, a new hero, and an improved home screen layout. If you haven't been able to check out what this stuff looks like, it looks so clean. If you want to see what the joystick looks like, we had Hammy and Daniel at the offices getting a little bit of a preview of it.
They absolutely love it. It's going to be so good for expanding the reach of Vainglory to so many different people. Some players who just naturally prefer the joystick option now have their chance to get their hands on it. This means nothing but good things for Vainglory. The touch control system is not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's the biggest clarification, is the touch controls are still there. You do not have to use the joystick if you don't want to. But then the other big thing is the ranked leaderboards coming in Update 3.3. This is arguably the most and longest requested feature in all of Vainglory finally going to be implemented.
It has been a long time coming. I'm super excited for it.
All right, well, another thing that's coming up soon in Vainglory is our new home at the Aria Resort and Casino. Let's take a look. this is it. This is the Poker Go Studio, the new home of Vainglory Esports. No more green screens, no more concept images. This is the real deal. They're finishing up some of the construction right now as we speak, but this is going to be it. I know we said we weren't going to have a green screen anymore. We're still going to have a little bit of fun with it, of course. But you know what's better than a green screen? How about 8 65-inch TVs behind us at this gorgeous desk? Cannot wait to be standing back here calling all the action alongside Munchables and Flash X. It's going to be an incredible season. One of the coolest things about this studio is we are not going to be confined to this desk. We could come out of a game and be at the desk, or we could come out here for deeper analysis. We're probably going to come out and have some fun with the green screen, or we could come out to the player lounge where we might have some players playing here live. What's up, guys? And of course, between regions, I'll probably be hanging out here, drinking water, of course. So that's our mini tour of the new Poker Go Studio, the new home of Vainglory Esports. We're gonna be here in the regular season, but before that, we still have a few more games to get to, so let's get into the picks and bans.
Hammy and Daniel having a lot of fun at the studio, having even more fun in this draft. Take note, ladies and gentlemen, that is a Quadra captain lineup with a Baron. Not something we have ever seen in the preseason thus far.
Not at all. TSM obviously on the top there with that quad captain build, and then Tribe on the other side. Still a very strong draft for Tribe as well, having the Celeste and the Samuel Vox Rona Lance. But where do we even start with this one?
Yeah, this is groundbreaking. Has TSM discovered a new meta? Should be very interesting to see how it plays out. Baron in the mix as well. We saw Baron last game. Was it too successful? I do have confidence that TSM can execute it a little bit better, though.
I'm also looking forward to seeing where all these different captains are going to end up, who's going to actually play captain for this one. But to help us try and make sense of this draft a little more, we've got Humanist on the line with us, getting ready to cast this game. Humanist, how excited are you for this matchup?
I gotta tell you, Bacon, we're reaching dangerous levels of hype over here. I actually had to slow down on the coffee intake, but this is actually just a beautiful matchup. TSM versus Tribe. This is what it's all about. We've got the two top dogs. I mean, excluding Munchables power rankings. Forgive me for that, Munch. But yeah, these teams are absolutely nuts. I want to look more at Tribe because I think this is the team that's, even though they're at the top, is slightly underperformed for me. But why are they so special? Because there's an all-star in every position, an established pro here. Specifically looking at I Love Joseph, what can this guy not do? You got some players that are great in 1v1, some are great team fighters, some can go utility. Joseph seems to be able to do every one of those categories incredibly well.
Absolutely. Taking a look on the flip side of things, though, my boy Kaz has looked so good for the side of TSM. Definitely working on expanding those hero pools. We're definitely going to be able to see expanded a little bit more here today. He has been causing havoc in the jungle. I am sure that he is going to be looking to do that once more against Tribe here today.
Yeah, and again, the questions abound of who he's going to be playing with this roster that they draft. You know, we've seen Tony in the jungle. We've seen some of like those more unconventional picks, but it's wide open with this roster. I mean, I think we can guess as to where they're going to go, especially you can probably guess as to which hero he's going to play, but it is going to be a treat either way. I cannot wait to get into this one, but before we do that, Humanist, I mean, we still got you here. What are you expecting to see out of these compositions?
I expect to see Gauntlet, then bada boom, and people just explode. I want to see people run at each other. I don't want 2 kills per minute. I want 3 kills per minute. And honestly, I'm not a biased caster. I'd like to see this TSM comp win. I don't know.
Well, if we go off of history, of recent memory, there's a good chance TSM might take the victory. They have a lot of these wins against Tribe. There's a couple matches that aren't shown here when this exact roster was just performing under a different name in some of these community events. They were able to pick up the victories in all of those as well. So Tribe, they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder. We'll see if that comes through as we get into our hype game of the week with Humanist and Excoundrel.
That's right, buddy. We are into the game right now. TSM versus Tribe. Players are out onto the rise. We've got a 2-2-1 coming out of TSM with Tony down in the bottom to start things off. I'm joined by Excoundrel. Are you as excited as I am, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a pretty weird draft coming out from TSM. I was hoping for something maybe a little bit more competitive. I think obviously TSM have a plan here, but regardless, I was kind of hoping for maybe a normal draft to really test the limits of these two teams.
What's normal about this?
Lots of things, Humanist. Lots of things. One of them being look, 5 captain team compositions can definitely work. CP Lyra is a very, very powerful pick. There are a lot of people have been one-tricking to hide Vainglorious because she is quite powerful in that respect. There is also like a full Protect the Baron thing going on here. You've got Kos, who if you can get to late game on this Baron, who just recently got some buffs over the last couple of updates. Lots of ways to basically play an entire composition around Baron here, so maybe this is a genuine tactic coming out from TSM. I probably is a little bit harsh.
That's how I'm going to approach it right now. A stun comes out onto Joseph. Joseph in the Drifting Dark, but he does have reinforcements kind of collapsing down through the jungle. Kind of a 4v2 situation as Hammy knocked up against the wall. TiVo taking a lot of damage. School potentially will have the kill, but drops back for the sure thing. Hammy's going to get rounded up, and that'll be a first blood going over to Tribe. Promised, and I told you.
Yeah, and actually, if you can see, very little can be responded to at this stage in the game from TSM, so it's some nice early rotations, and they're going to get a little bit of jungle stealing away from their top side of the map as well. So this is a really, really good early rotation coming out from Tribe, because at this point in the game, you're very unlikely to get punished for committing that many members to a singular area of the map. Because most of the jungle had already been cleared on first rotation. There's no way that you're going to take a turret down before 4 minutes easily, so yeah, I like that a lot. I'm assuming that we're going full Protect the Baron here, if that's what we're looking at, like a hyper carry composition, a little bit akin to like if you play League of Legends, Cogmore. I don't know what it is in Dota 2 terms, Humanist, but you get a lot of that in sort of traditional MOBAs in 5v5. You kind of play around a singular hyper carry and build the entire team to protect them. Maybe that's what we're seeing here from TSM.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see something like that. A lot of utility coming out, but based off of the builds, like if we get a couple Storm Crowns coming out here, it doesn't even matter. Even if it's on proc hits, they're still capable of doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, and obviously it's great objective control with Storm Crowns as well. You've got great neutral objective control. You can clear jungles. You can invade the enemy jungle and take away camps really nicely, as well as having a little bit of extra sort of boost in terms of your turret taking capabilities. So yeah, I think if we get that many Storm Crowns, for sure. We're going to see one on TiVo, I assume, absolutely. I'm assuming Shaded Talent is going to go like a CP Lyra hybrid, potentially. And then we might see Hammy and Daniel go more traditional build paths. But yeah, I think this is a really interesting composition coming out from TSM. But we need to look at over the board of Tribe. Tribe have just got a whole bunch of power picks here, Humanist.
Yeah, power picks across the board. Talked about Celeste and Samuel in the last game. Rona's been rounding up kind of that nice filler tank that can also get to the back line and also force people to scatter kind of carry. And Vox, I mean, is Vox just always the best?
Yeah, Vox is just, he's because of his kit, it's very difficult to not make Vox work, right? He's just got such a good kit for a ranged carry, and he always will do unless he ever gets changed.
Yeah, School taken down there. We can get back to the Vox kit here in a second. It looks like maybe a little more aggression coming out. Gabe Vizzle absorbing that damage, so they go ahead and get back there. But I mean, yeah, like you said, Vox, he's just traditionally always good, no matter what changes happen to him. People play him maybe a little bit differently, but I do kind of love that stability in the hero. You know, maybe it can get kind of stale if you always see like Poison Shiv into Breaking Point or something, but just knowing that if you get there, you can get things done is pretty nice.
Yeah, he's just, like you said, he's a very staple, and do you know what I actually like across metas in MOBAs? I do like the fact that there's some heroes and some champions, depending on what MOBA you play, that will always remain good. Because I think if things change up too much, it gets confusing from update to update who the hell's good to play. You need people that are always going to remain good in most situations. Rona is going to remain good in most situations. Vox will always remain good in most situations. And, you know, they're very solid side laners as well, Humanists, because both Rona and Vox have few bad matchups. Both of them are very difficult to counter, and the counters are very specific, and those counters often have really bad matchup against a lot of other meta heroes as well. So, you know, they're just good side laners if you're worried about getting countered, because they have very few true counters.
So I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. Now, Daniel taking a lot of damage down in bot lane. He'll be okay. But TSM looked to have 3 weapon with just TiVo going a little bit more of the utility-based build. Has the Storm Crown, will have that kind of damage there, but this is very unique what's coming out.
If we look towards what TSM's win conditions probably are here, because of the kits of Tony, because of the kits of Arden, they are naturally going to lend themselves to always having something to help this Baron out. But they're looking to maybe be a bit more cohesive in terms of what they provide in terms of overall damage. And you can see Cos already with just that ultimate and the tension bow looking to push down onto this first turret of the game. Shouldn't get it on this push, but maybe on the next.
Yeah, they almost had that. And there's pressure coming out from Tribe down in this bottom lane right now as Daniel and Shaded Talent pinned against their own turret as TiVo holds down mid, trying to keep Old School from getting as much farm and happiness as he'd like there in that mid lane. So this is just a matter of who's going to break first. There's pressure everywhere in this map.
Lyra should be able to clear the waves easily enough with Daniel, and he taunts them into the turret. Oh, Max Green has to be forced to run away there, and it is going to be that first turret in the top lane going over to TSM. That was just one more minion wave with a single hit from Baron, and they've done a really nice job, and actually with less pressure on the top side now as well, because they're going to rotate down. That was only 2 members committed to the top rather than 3 members committed from Tribe to that bot side.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting, but you had a 2-man defense up against the 1-man defense, and we talked about the Vox. Like, he's a staple, he's a great hero, time and time again, but you got to get to those power spikes, and Poison Ship's just not going to cut it up against that tension bow and then having 2 up against 1.
So let's have a look towards, I think it's always nice to sort of reel this back to what actual win conditions are for teams, right? When you see a composition, it's all very well saying like, it's a great composition, but it's nice to like reel it back to what the win conditions are of each specific roster. And if you look at TSM, obviously when you run with a weapon power Baron, you're looking to get weapon power Baron to 3 to 4 items plus. That's going to give you great team fight presence. And the rest of it is going to be looking to play around him. Like we said, Lyra Shaded going just traditional support. So he's going the traditional captain build. It looks like you're seeing Hammy and Daniel go more kind of off-tanky. I would describe this. I don't think they're going to commit to full weapon power build paths, but they're probably going to go more off-tanky and then building towards more support items to help support Cos. But again, as we get to the late game, you're going through a Rona with heavy melee. You've got a Lance who's got great peel. You've got the Celeste with all of her CC and the range disadvantage. You do feel that not a lot of this is going to be about what Daniel and Hammy provide to a team fight with their damage-orientated builds. It's all going to be about Cos. Cos is going to be that carry that TSM need to make work here in these team fights.
I feel like, well, I totally agree with you on that. I feel like them having a bit of damage, though, and I do like them getting it early here, means that you can't completely forget about them, right? Which is going to kind of give that opening, potentially, for Cos to get in, and if they're slightly distracted, suddenly, now Baron's onto a key target, and he can start to blow people up. It feels like he's going to definitely need a breaking point at some point.
Yeah, no, or just the full crit build. The full crit build still works really well. And against, if you look if you're looking at this team from Tribe, who do you actually want to kill on a team like Humanist? You want to kill, like, specifically Old School and probably I Love Joseph as well. And then Zio is going to be like a target that's like kind of like 1.5 in terms of where you're planning to focus your attention. You know that Joseph and Old School aren't going to. Sorry.
I just don't see them getting there onto the Celeste or onto the same.
Yeah. But then you've got, look at the amount of repositioning tools and lockdown you've got Tony ultimate, you've got the Arden ultimate, you've got the Lyra portal, you've got the ability to silence up with the Catherine. There is so much that you would need to Crucible here, and Gabe is not going to be enough Crucibles to make that happen. So there are lots of ways, if you play the team fight properly from TSM, that you should be able to get onto that member that you want to try and blow up. My problem is that I just feel that the front line, who's supposed to be the tanky front line, if TSM aren't careful, they're not tanky enough right now. So if they keep taking team fights, especially when you get to 2 to 3 item spikes for the Celeste and Samuel, you might actually end up just getting shredded before you can actually protect Cos at all.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the play. Both sides want to stack up a little damage before they commit into the fight, and it's starting to stack up here. Don't doubt that Crucible coming out. That's going to be a blocked off blast trimmer right there. As both teams kind of bide their time resetting. Zeo drops into the jungle. He'll get his weapon buff, and I'm not sure what the move is for TSM.
Just buy more time, mate. Like, obviously the scaling of the Celeste is always going to be something to worry about, but when you've got a weapon power Baron, you commit yourself to farming. You commit yourself to getting him to 4 items at the very least, because that is where Baron becomes powerful. So what you actually made a really nice point earlier, Humanist, where you talked about you like that some damage items are coming out early on the Arden and the Tony specifically. I actually completely agree. I think that by having that gives them earlier pressure on tier 1 turrets in lane. It allows them to be able to clear waves more effectively without having to rely on Cos rotating around the map 24/7, because that means they'll just lose so much lane pressure if they're relying on him specifically. So buying a couple of early damage items allows them to do what you can see Daniel doing right now, which is just clearing out that bot wave and doing it quickly enough so that they're able to respond to map pressure being generated by a multiple threat composition coming out from Tribe.
Now here's the thing, doesn't matter if Zeo gets some breaking point stacks, that will go the other way. Gauntlets down, TSM pull the trigger, Gabe Bizzle taking a lot of damage, Solar Storm comes through, but it's not too much. Gabe just picked up that fountain, he's gonna go ahead and blow it right here. Not too many breaking point stacks out for Zeo. Gabe on the front side, he'll go down. Blast Trimmer connects on through. Can they follow up on that old? Oh, there's the portal for it. That's what we're talking about. You called it out before. Scoundrel saw it on paper as he looked into his crystal ball. It's a bloodbath here. Joseph's gonna find another one. Hammy, you're in a bad place. Max Green, go get him, boy. You got this, bud, right? Yeah, that's gonna be the...
Oh, Hammy, picks one up, mate.
Samuel Jackson coming on through. He'll take that one. It is an absolute disaster. What a scout cam. Max Green, what a player. Almost like a former captain mentality inside this guy, a legend. A block comes out from Hammy. He's about to get a double kill. A healing flask, a self Vanguard. Going through, cue the Benny Hill theme song. You can't stop this guy. The new meta has been created here.
That is exactly what I was talking about, Humanist. In terms of execution from TSM, now if you imagine that wasn't under a turret when they made that happen. It was a really good way of just negotiating around Gabe's Crucible. Like you said, you burnt one Crucible there. And then you have so many other tools to lock down those carries. You can dive in, you've got lots of damage coming out from the Tony and the Arden. I mean, this is a breaking point coming out from Hammy now. Maybe he is just going full weapon power Arden. Maybe Tasty Bacon is on the desk right now, having the time of his life.
He's on the floor right now.
Because he's seeing a full weapon power Arden coming out right now.
Oh
wow.
My goodness. It's a thing of beauty. Now, I can't say I've never run this one before because I've definitely tried it. The thing is, he just has to stick on to targets. If it's a clumped up team fight and people aren't just straight up running away, he can get a lot of work done. Blast Trimmer blocked off there. Tribe still feeling healthy here in this mid lane. They'll start to kind of converge and apply a bit of pressure. Daniel's still down in bottom. Tribe do have the advantage here in towards mid. Zeo moves over. He's going to grab a weapon infusion. In fact, I think a couple just got picked up there. Both of these teams totally ready to fight.
I think with Tribe, now you've got the Spellfire coming out that's going to make it harder for that front line to sustain up, especially with the Lyra, because obviously she's providing a lot of sustain to that front line. Specifically, when the Clockwork comes out for Old School, that's where you're going to want to use your range advantage from Joseph and Old School to just try and stop that fight from getting close enough. Remember, TSM, apart from the Baron, are a serious range disadvantage compared to Tribe. They have got they've only got one member that's going to be on an equal level in terms of range to anything that the Tribe roster is bringing to the table. So what Tribe need to do is just, if they get to a team fight situation, they just need to have Old School and Joseph spam their abilities to try and keep that front line as low as possible to prevent them from finding those key engages, to prevent them from burning an easy Crucible from Gabe and then looking for a gauntlet opportunity. That's really what I would be doing as Tribe right now.
I mean, the way you describe it makes a lot of sense. Do you think it would make sense to get into a Frostburn even? I don't know if the value's there right now.
You're reading my mind, but we have a little team fight and they are just trying to back off here.
Yeah, they're portal in here. TSM, can you do it? They're gonna get onto School. School turns it around now. It's Daniel to go down first. How did he stay alive? Gabe Bizzle keeping his teammates healthy as can be. Oh my goodness, who needs a doctor when you got Gabe on your team? Old School almost goes down, but he turns it around. They stay alive on a sliver of health. It's like this guy has like an anti-death cheat code activated right now. Unbelievable that only one person goes down in that team fight. That was awesome.
I have no idea. I think they had to barrel Cos through that portal because they knew if everybody else went through, he would be isolated. but TSM played right into the jaws of the shark and somehow came away with just a scratch. That was a really nice team fight setup for Tribe because they were able to just pace it backwards. Old School somehow survives, like you said. TSM, I think, maybe pulled the trigger a bit too early there. They didn't actually do any of the pre-work that they were doing in the previous engages, like using the Catherine ultimate to bait out the Crucible, waiting for it to come off cooldown, using the Tony ultimate to try and break up the team fight, then using the Gauntlet. Because the perfect situation is you burn the Crucible, you then use the Tony ultimate to split up the team fight, use the Arden Gauntlet to separate them and keep them separated, and then try and pick off, you know, individual key members. That, for me, would be the perfect situation for TSM, although Tribe, they're going for that mid lane tier 1.
Gotta do your prep work, man. You can't get in there and just be expecting to take team fights like that. From the very beginning, we talked about it. It's like whoever's going to start to build up some stacks first is going to have a better time in these fights. I think you see the Vox and the Baron both playing it the same way. You have people that will be on the front side, get some of that damage ramped up, and then pull the trigger and get into it. But right now, I don't know if they can make that happen clean every time.
I do need to highlight that Koz is actually really not that far ahead in farm, personally. He's only got 51 at this point in time. He's at 2.5 items. Hammy has got almost 100. Daniel has got 68. It doesn't really feel like the farm is being prioritized.
I literally looked at Hammy's items and thought I was looking at Baron's for a second there. So yeah, that was a bad point on my end.
Koz is really far behind in terms of his own farm right now. And for someone that's going to scale up so well, that's maybe a little bit of a worry. What TSM are doing now, though, is they are sending Hammy to the top side of the map. Now, he's got heavy sustain, he's got ramp up, he's got great dueling potential, and I think Tribe have sent the right person to deal with him, that is Max Green. I don't feel that Hammy's going to be able to deal 1v1 with the Rona. And speaking of Max Green, second Crucible coming out from him, Humanist.
Of course, and it's the perfect hero to be picking it up now. Tribe, they see an opening. It's Hammy who they want to go for. That's the target. Hammy, a defensive gauntlet, but it's blocked off as they chase on forward. Hammy over the wall. Can they get away now? Suddenly it feels a little bit sloppy, so they have to jump back. The Baron's gone down, but Old School leaves himself in a vulnerable position. They're able to collapse on down. Hammy's down, Koz is down, School and Joseph have dropped the 3v3, but who can get who? A nice little trash talk right in the middle of a fight. Have some manners, Daniel. Max Green starts to spin here. This is the real threat that you talked about. 23 breaking point stacks, but he's gonna go ahead and pull off of this one. The disengage call has been made. Gabe's gonna go ahead and back out, and why so much fear, Scoundrel?
Do you know what? Tribe felt that they'd caught out Hammy there, but Hammy managed to actually make it so that Daniel and Tivo found a way into the back line. You've got heavy burst with the Aftershock Stormcrown on Catherine. If you hit someone with a stun, you're actually going to burst them for quite a significant portion of HP. And then with Hammy and Daniel being right there in the back line, although Baron got taken very low, the way that the team fight is set up completely exposed Zio, Old School, and Joseph to a melee range threat, which just shouldn't be happening. Like, you shouldn't be letting them getting anywhere close without them actually forcing the situation to those particular carries. That was basically Tribe giving TSM the keys to the fight because they chased so far and they split their one peeling member, Gabe, round the other side of that wall, and he was nowhere there to protect his members of his team because he couldn't roll over the way that Hammy jumped over with his Vanguard.
Yeah, I think honestly that's probably the biggest disruptor through that fight there that the Tribe weren't able to really predict. They saw that opening and they thought they could get the kill. Honestly, I thought they might be able to chase him down, but getting over the wall, that was really a huge key to winning that fight. Impressive stuff, though. This game is back and forth. Overall net worth very even. We're 18.5 minutes in, tied up 8-8 overall on the kills. Little contest for the Crystal Treant's going to come out here. It's not going to be a problem. Tivo able to grab that one off. And where do you think we might see the next engagement out on this map?
Well, obviously Blacklaw is now on the map, so he's someone that you're always going to have to respect. There's a lot of turret-taking potential. If TSM get a convincing fight and get Blacklaw, they can probably shove down and get the win straight away. But obviously, with the burst potential coming out and the range potential, TSM could probably never start Blacklaw themselves without an advantage on the map, because you're going up against a Celeste and a Samuel who will punish you in that dragon pit if you aren't careful and if you aren't setting up for a fight immediately if they get into range. So TSM have probably got decisions to make here. I would just maintain vision, try and get a pick, and then use that to snowball. If I was Tribe, I would be looking at this as an opportunity, saying, well, let's try and bait TSM into a situation where we can utilize our range advantage. They're all going to be grouped up and make it easy for us to hit big Malice and Verdicts and big Heliogenesis.
I mean, I could see it happening either way. Now it's going to be another aggressive arcane passage. Who's the target? They start with Zeo. School's able to get back. Tears right on through with the Solar Storm. Now, Zeo, he's getting breaking point stacks. This is going great for Tribe. What started great, but it's turned around. They can't lose Max that fast. Too quickly in the beginning of this fight, they lose the Rona and it gets turned. I mean, that felt like it was a turnaround from Tribe. I completely misread it.
No, honestly, Humans, I felt exactly the same way. I think that should have been a turnaround from Tribe. I felt that the Tribe range members were too reluctant to commit. The Rona was on top of 4 members of TSM, spinning her little heart out, and nobody from Tribe was willing to back her up. They were too scared of a potential engage, but honestly, TSM had used most of their gap closing abilities just to engage that fight, and realistically got absolutely zero from it. Although, what is going on here? Hammy!
Hammy! He's not going to tick down. He's an Arden! What a legend. What a heroic perk. An absolute monster here. That's going to be Ghostwing taken over here by TSM. Happy about it now. They'll go ahead and move down towards the bottom.
This isn't even to protect the COS composition. This is like completely different from where to protect the COS composition.
COS is the distraction.
Exactly. If anything, COS is having the least impact in these team fights. This is the Hammy show.
The distraction, dude. Bacon was like 3 years ahead of the meta.
It seems that way. This is the Hammy show right now. Oh my god.
Good night, Zeo. Good night, Joseph. Good night, Tribe.
Good night, Mr.
Sorry, I've been reading a lot of bedtime stories here. That's going to be the first base turret going down, and bottom armory should be next on the menu. Old School pulls the trigger on that Solar Storm. It's not going to really do too much, and you know, Old School, he's got a couple items together here. It's not like he's just been crushed. He is at 1, 4, and 5, but he's at a point where it should feel like he's having an impact. They just aren't putting it together.
I think, you know, I want to relate this back to one of the points that you made earlier that I was about to touch on and a team fight broke out. I genuinely don't think Frostburn would have been a bad choice for Samuel or even Old School on Celeste. Against this much melee, you know, a Frostburn might have been able to...
Another Arcane Bastion. They cancel the Gauntlet, but they get the Celeste here. What an aggressive call. I'm loving this.
I mean, obviously Frostburn is not going to be good in that kind of situation because you're just dead, right?
No, I mean, Frostburn will protect you from that.
I think what also, the way the TSM drafted this is there is actually nothing to protect the Celeste, the Samuel, or the Vox other than the Lance. So if you can stop Githian Wool from being super impactful, and maybe even Crucible it, or even if you do get Githian Wool, like it only buys a couple of, or even half a second, if that. There are actually not many heroes that Tribe could have drafted to help protect their backline. So if you do portal into the backline, and then Daniel dives in, Hammy supports, you get the stun off from TiVo, the amount of pure CC and burst damage coming out from TSM specifically onto these squishy carries in the backline, it's almost impossible for Tribe to actually respond to that. Like they actually genuinely can't respond to that because they've only got the Oblivion, the Core Collapse, and the Githian Wall to actually provide hard CC. A lot of that can get blocked up by the individual reflex blocks and the obviously shaded talents Crucible, as long as it's timed at the right time.
Daniel's got Crucible too.
2 Crucibles now. Like if you can block those key abilities, there's actually no way to prevent the Celeste from getting targeted, no way to prevent Joseph from getting targeted. And this is the way that TSM has been playing every single fight. You've seen it with their intent, with their portals every single time. They have a clear objective in mind. It is literally barrel everybody in, blow someone up.
And they've been doing so. Hey, a technical question. Well, we'll hold that thought here. There you go. They pull the trigger again. They get onto the key target. It's Zeo this time. Zeo taken down before he can even get some damage off. Blast Tremor is going to connect onto 2 or 3 there. Joseph forced back. Max Green trying to stay onto key targets. He can't do enough work. His team is too heavy, Scoundrel. And the Old School is going to get taken down by Weapon Arden potentially here. And I just say that so Bacon can hear it and bask in the delicious sounds of the Weapon Arden tearing on through Tribe. Gabe Fizzle's caught inside the gauntlet from the Weapon Arden as TSM run over Tribe, and a lot of questions have just been answered here. 19-9, 24 minutes in, as TSM just put the hurt on Tribe.
And I entered this game thinking that TSM were just trolling and having a bit of fun. I've exited this game thinking TSM are geniuses. Like with that specific draft, like you thought it was about COS at the beginning, and then it sort of evolved into this very good composition at dealing specifically with the backline like Celeste. We know Old School loves his Celeste and Zeo's, you know, Zio's Vox. You dive them, everybody in. It doesn't matter if the Baron goes down. He's there for a little bit of burst damage and to be a distraction. Then you just blow up one of those key squishy targets. TSM executed every single time, and actually, because of Tribe's composition, they didn't have the tools to deal with that kind of engage humanist.
Kind of like a magic trick. You look one way and everything else is happening somewhere else. But guys, we got some guys at the desk to break this one down. Flash, how you feeling about that one?
My boys, that was so damn good. I love it. Seriously, absolutely incredible. Hats off to all of them. They were trolling. They're also geniuses. Tebow stepping up huge in that sub role. You've got to love it too, though.
2 years. 2 years I've been advocating for the weapon, Arden. Take all the notes you know, throw them away. That is what you do. Hammy making the plays, becoming my new favorite player. I am finally, someone pulled it out again. We saw it last year once. It did great then. We finally get to see it again now. Maybe we'll see it some more going forward.
Such a good highlight. Jumping back into the game, 21 minutes into the game, setting the tempo, executing so well, so coordinated. Daniel starting this off. They knock out the turret. They have the Ghost Wing buff at this point. That was so critical. The barrier, all the extra healing, just diving these backline squishy heroes. They're so tanky. The Tribe can't do anything to stop this massive ball of fury just diving into these backlines.
The best moment for me was that 2v1 from Hammy on the weapon Arden, finding a kill, almost getting a second one. Baron ahead early game. You see just a lot of excitement about the Arden, the one punch.
Jungle Baron, baby. Jungle Baron.
Jungle Baron, lane weapon Arden, lane weapon Tony.
Mid lane Catherine.
Mid lane Catherine. Absolutely ridiculous. And they still get the win. TSM, undisputed top team in North America right now.
On so many different levels. If you can pull something out of this, out of your bag, if this is in your bag of tricks, there's a lot of work that goes into it. Kaz has been practicing Jungle Baron, begging to play it for a very long time. I'm genuinely happy for him that he finally got an opportunity and proved that it's actually viable. So good.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. If you complain about, we talk about TSM too much, start doing things like that. And that's why we talk about TSM so much. But we're going to take a look at the rest of the day in Europe. We had Queso, Rising Lotus, and Clash all victorious. Earlier in North America, Rogue getting the victory on Tilt Rehab, and of course, TSM taking that #1 spot with a victory over Tribe Gaming.
Only going to have 2 games today. Great taking a look at the final standings for North America. TSM sitting at the top.
We still have some games tomorrow before we get final standings. But going into our final day, again, you see TSM over Tribe. They are going to stay at #1 regardless. Nova Esports with a chance to take that tie for that #2 spot with Tribe. And you got Rogue, Slimy Salamanders, and Vision Gaming all right there as well. Tilt Rehab and Hammers, unfortunately, down near the bottom. We're going to take a look at our moment of the day. I don't think there's any question as to where it's coming from. Take a look.
Next on through, can they follow up on that old? Oh, there's the portal for it. That's what we're talking about. You called it out before. Scoundrel saw it on paper as he looked into his crystal ball. It's a bloodbath here. Joseph's going to find another one. Hammy, you're in a bad place. Max Screen, go get him, boy. You got this, bud, right? Yeah. That's gonna be.
Oh, Hammy! Picks one off, mate!
Samuel Jackson coming on through. He'll take that one. It is an absolute disaster. What a scout cam, Max.
Samuel Jackson with the big plays, and the It's Lit stat of the day is 4, because there were 4 captains getting a win in a single game here today. Absolutely incredible stuff. Super fun. We told you it was going to be a great match to watch, and I believe it lived up to every single bit of the hype.
Super fun. Definitely increasing the expectations for the regular season, putting them through the roof. For Sunday, though, we got some more great matches coming up in Europe. Salty Potatoes takes on Queso, Equinox against Clash, Rising Lotus against Wolves Esports, and then North America starting early again as well, 11 a.m. Slimy Salamanders versus Hammers Esports, Vision Gaming, and Nova Esports to wrap up the day.
Yeah, gonna be definitely some exciting matchups, and it's all leading up to the new regular season kicking off early June. There's only going to be a few weeks of downtime before we are back at the new studio with a regular season coming to you, North America and Europe, with 2 tournaments each. There's going to be 24 teams per region in those tournaments. 8 teams will be invited. The rest will be open sign up. The open season is going to be kicking off very shortly, so make sure you get yourselves ready to sign up. Anyone can put together a team and sign up for their chance to compete and become one of these next top teams in Vainglory.
Huge opportunity for so many players to prove that they can go head-to-head with a lot of these top teams, pull out some interesting strategies like we just saw in the last one. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Cannot wait, but before we get going for tonight, we are going to say congratulations to End Weaver, the winner of our next Battle Pass giveaway. So End Weaver will be receiving a free Battle Pass credited to their account. So if you want to have your chance at winning a Battle Pass, make sure you tune in tomorrow. Join up with us on social media for your opportunity to get a free Battle Pass unlocked on your account. Until tomorrow morning, we're going to see what the rest of these teams are going to bring to the table. Until then, we'll see you on the Rise.